Dr. Pepper's recipe is locked in a vault in Dallas, and only 3 people on Earth know the full formula. Those 23 flavors have stayed secret since 1885, guarded tighter than most corporate secrets. You can't call it a cola. It doesn't taste like Coke. It's not a root beer either. Dr. Pepper sits in its own category, a flavor profile engineered to confuse your taste buds in the best way possible. One bottling line can fill over 1,200 cans per minute, each one carrying that exact same mysterious blend. The syrup arrives in sealed tankers. The ingredients are compartmentalized so workers never see the full picture. And the blending happens in isolated rooms where even the containers are coded. We're taking you inside the high-speed machinery and the lockdown process that keeps the mystery alive while millions of cans roll out daily. Back in 1885, Charles Alderton worked the soda fountain at Morrison's Old Corner drugstore in Waco, Texas. Customers kept mentioning how much they loved the smell of the pharmacy's fruit syrups mixing together in the air. Alderton got curious. He started experimenting with carbonated water and different combinations of those syrups, trying to capture that smell in a drink. What he created wasn't like anything else on the fountain menu. It had depth, hints of cherry, vanilla, warming spices, but no single flavor dominated. Customers loved it. Wade Morrison, who owned the store, named it Dr. Pepper, though the period got dropped sometime in the 1950s. The drink started as a brain tonic and digestive aid, which was standard for pharmacy fountain drinks back then. People believed carbonated beverages had medicinal properties, so Alderton's creation fit right into that tradition. The Waco formula spread through soda fountains across Texas, building a loyal following one glass at a time. Then came the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. Over 20 million visitors passed through, and Dr. Pepper set up a booth. That exposure launched national distribution. By the post-war boom, bottling plants were scaling up fast, transforming Dr. Pepper from a regional medicinal curiosity into an American staple. But creating that complex flavor at factory speed requires precision most people never see. Dr. Pepper doesn't taste like other sodas because it's engineered differently. The 23 flavors aren't stacked, they're blended. Your brain doesn't pick out cherry, then vanilla, then caramel. Instead, you get one unified taste that registers as something entirely its own. That's intentional. The flavor profile includes hints of cherry, vanilla, caramel, and warming spices, but the balance keeps any single note from taking over. It occupies its own sensory category, neither cola nor root beer. Syrup production starts in isolated blending rooms where ingredients arrive in unmarked containers with coded labels. The compartmentalized system means different workers handle different flavor components. No single person in the facility knows the full recipe. It's a security measure that's been in place for decades, keeping the 23 flavors locked down even from the people who make it every day. High-pressure mixing tanks combine those 23 ingredients in a precise sequence. Order matters here. Flavor development depends on when each component hits the mix. Some ingredients need time to marry with others before the next one gets added. The tanks operate under pressure to ensure even distribution and prevent separation. Temperature control is locked at exactly 72 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the blending process. Any warmer and the volatile aromatics start evaporating. Any cooler and the viscosity changes, throwing off the consistency. At 72 degrees Fahrenheit, the syrup stays stable and the flavor profile remains identical across millions of gallons. Quality control happens at every stage. Trained sensory specialists sample every batch against the master formula kept in the Dallas vault. They're checking sweetness, tartness, and that signature peppery finish that gives Dr. Pepper its name. The tasting panel has calibrated palates. They can detect deviations most people would never notice. If a batch doesn't match the standard, it doesn't leave the blending room. Once approved, the syrup concentrate gets pumped into sealed tankers for transport to bottling plants. The tankers are locked and monitored. Even during shipping, the mystery stays intact. Bottling facilities receive the concentrate without ever knowing what's inside. They follow precise dilution ratios, but the formula itself remains hidden. It's a system designed to protect the secret at every point in the supply chain, from blending room to retail shelf. Once the syrup reaches the bottling plant, Computerized proportioning systems take over. The concentrate gets mixed with filtered water at exact ratios, typically 1 part syrup to 5 parts water, though the precise formula varies by plant. The water goes through multiple filtration stages to remove minerals and impurities that could alter the taste. Dr. Pepper's flavor can't compete with chlorine or calcium deposits, so the water has to be as neutral as possible. Carbonation happens under pressure in sealed tanks. Liquid CO2 gets injected into the syrup water mixture while it's chilled to around 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold liquid holds carbonation better than warm, so the temperature drop is critical. The tanks maintain pressure until the CO2 fully dissolves, creating that signature fizz. Release the pressure too early and you lose carbonation. Hold it too long and you risk over-carbonation, which throws off the mouthfeel. From there, the carbonated Dr. Pepper flows into rotary fillers, massive circular machines with dozens of filling heads, spinning at constant speed. Each head fills a can in less than a second. At full capacity, these lines process 1,200 cans per minute. The cans move through on a conveyor, locking into position under a filling head, just long enough to receive exactly 12 ounces. Precision matters here. Overfill and you waste product. Underfill and you violate labeling regulations. Seaming machines create airtight seals immediately after filling. Double seam rollers press the lid onto the can body in 2 stages, forming a hermetic seal that locks in carbonation and keeps contaminants out. The process takes fractions of a second per can, but the seal has to be perfect. A weak seam means a flat soda and a customer complaint. Laser sensors monitor every can as it moves down the line. They check fill level, seal integrity, and carbonation pressure. Any can that falls outside tolerance gets kicked off the line automatically. The system catches defects before they reach packaging, ensuring only properly filled and sealed cans make it to retail. Filled cans pass through a pasteurization tunnel where controlled heat extends shelf life without adding preservatives. The temperature spike kills any microorganisms that might have entered during filling. Then the cans cool back down before packaging. Robotic palletizers stack finished cases onto pallets, ready for distribution to thousands of retailers. The operation runs on closed-loop water systems that recycle 85% of processed water. Rinse water gets filtered and reused for equipment cleaning and cooling. The aluminum cans themselves are infinitely recyclable, melted down and reformed without quality loss. From vault-protected formula to high-speed production lines, the mystery stays locked while millions of cans roll out daily. The 23 flavors remain a secret, but the engineering that delivers them is pure precision. Subscribe to see how other iconic drinks get made at impossible speeds, and drop your favorite Dr. Pepper variety in the comments.